So take a step back before I get all up in your
remember, because I don't remember. I remember every bit of this.
You're the dudes holding on the phone line. Your voice will be heard, sir.
Next caller, please.
Jerry's gonna get him.
Fantasy sports and politics. Fantasy sports and politics. Fantasy sports and politics. Fantasy sports and politics.
Listeners are asking questions about this week's games, not Jerry's personal beef. So what's your thought? Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, welcome to Fantasy Sports and Politics. It's me, it's Mr. FSP. Not getting too excited because the doctor told me, relax. But anyway, I got all this damn hair. I can't wait to get rid of it. I'm going to donate most of it to my co-host, JTTM Money. I know he wishes he had his fro like this again. I don't know, but we're going to talk about it. But today, we got a lot of stuff to talk about. There's been a lot of injuries in the NFL, a lot, starting with day one with Aaron Rodgers. And the big names keep dropping. We're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about the schedule, of course, big plays, things of that nature. Bro, if I look like Denzel Washington, I'd have so many things. I appreciate that, Chris. But we got a lot of stuff to talk about, a litany of things, injuries, players getting picked up, a whole bunch. Chris actually sent me a request to talk about first. So, but before we do that, let me bring in my co-host, JTATM Money, and we'll jump right into it.
What's up, Huey? What's up, Huey?
Are you trying to say
Huey Newton?
I know, bro. I can't stand having all this.
Man, this is, 14 years. I've never seen you have so much hair.
I ain't never had so much hair. I shouldn't say ain't, but I have never had so much hair. And I don't. Listen, I know I'm going to want this one day when my hair starts to really bald or whatever. But, bro, I hope I never have that happen. But all this stuff, Anyway, I want to give JT some props before we begin. If you played JT's teaser last week, you won.
Yep.
You won. I don't know what wild hair he got that made him come up with it, but he did, and he won. I was hoping he'd have one this week, but he doesn't. So it is what it is. But Q's teaser almost hit. No, Q's teaser did hit. I'm sorry. So we had a double hit. Q's teaser as well as Jerry's teaser. We've got a Q's teaser again this week. So if you played both, you probably did a good job and cleaned up a little bit. We'll talk about that at the end of the show, of course. But the question, and Chris hit me up with a couple of things. What are you doing?
I'm holding up a piece of paper. You can't wait. You can't see it, but that's okay.
Yeah, I can't see it. Okay. And your mic is either off or out?
My mic is not out. It's on.
Okay, well, you got a serious delay on that end, brother.
Yeah, it looks like it. I do, yeah. Okay.
All right. Anyway, Chris came up with some very good topics, or he came up with one good question topic that we're going to talk about at the beginning. And then if he decides to share the other bit of information that he shared with me, with you all, I'm interested in seeing what your thought is, JT. Seems though you're a former Jets fan, probably have something similar to say. But if Chris doesn't share it, then I'll talk to you about it off air. But here's the question. This is the question, JT.
Yep.
Who's coming and who's going as an NFL coach? he says, well, I'm not gonna speak for Chris, but we agree that we believe it's time for Belichick to go. And in the news this week, before Brandon Staley has been fired or relieved of his duties, there's a lot of speculation that he's going to be the new head coach with the Chargers because he has Herbert and an awesome defense. I can see that happening. Why? Because who's going to pay for that? The Patriots will end up paying most of Bill Belichick's salary if they fire him and then he gets rehired in with the Chargers.
Don't like it.
Well. So one going is Staley, who we agree probably should have been gone this year. One coming and going at the same time as Belichick to the Chargers. But who else do you have in mind? And go ahead and expound on why you don't like it, but then transition to who else?
Well, one I definitely don't like is the head coach in Atlanta. I totally think he mismanaged that team, especially in the offense and especially in the quarterback position. Okay. He got Taylor Heineke, and he stuck too long with Desmond Ridder. I think he totally just mismanaged that and didn't get the most out of what he could from the players he had. He's got, let me put it this way, and I said this before, and I've said it multiple times. You draft a player at number 8 in the NFL draft, essentially a rookie. Okay. So you think
go ahead.
Well, he's essentially a rookie. Okay.
I mean, yeah, he is a rookie, not essentially.
Okay, he's a rookie. Okay. And he's a running back. Not too many running backs get drafted that high in the draft without being used extensively. Not running in and out intermittently, and then all of a sudden you don't play him that much, or he gets 2 or 3 snaps or 4 or 5 touches. Come on, man, that's ridiculous. Okay, and quite naturally, you don't have to say I don't worry about anybody's fantasy team. Okay, when you're the head coach is supposed to be able to utilize his assets each week as much as he can to try to win a football game. As hard as it can, it's hard to win a football game. And if you don't use the valuable assets, especially a rookie that you drafted so high that you don't use them, and you're questioned, and you say, I'm not worried about somebody's fantasy team, come on, man. Then you're not looking at the big picture. You're not looking to prove a point.
Wait a minute. So this was a legit question somebody asked, and he referred to fantasy as opposed to the player's ability and the scheme?
No. I mean, this is one of the run-heaviest teams. Has been one of the run-heaviest teams in the league.
No, I got it. But what I'm asking, because you keep saying he said he's not worried about anybody's fantasy.
As far as I know, what I'm told or what I've seen is that he's not worried about whether we should use this guy or not. Okay. Okay.
Because he quoted that. That's kind of stupid.
But you drafted him number 8 overall in the draft, and you think you're not going to use him? He was considered one of the best backs, if not the best back in the draft, and a generational type of running back, and you don't use him, or you just and we had talked about this before. I know I'm getting long-winded. We had talked about this earlier before the season started, that I thought that he was going to be a running back by committee. Unfortunately, I was correct in that for the most part until I think he used them extensively a lot last week. Well, he been should have doing that all along. I don't understand it.
Okay. All right. You railed on Smith. You don't like Staley, and you don't like the move from Belichick to the Chargers.
No.
But you did. I asked you about that. But this is what Chris shared with me in a text message. But he says there's only one reason why Bill Belichick is still playing or coaching. It should be. He wants to be the all-time leader in NFL coach wins. He has a buddy and neighbor happens to be Don Shula's grandson, and he told me that he doesn't want Bill Belichick to be traded as there is no way he can catch his grandfather in New England. Right. Additionally, he told me Don Shula brought his last team to the playoffs, and Bill Belichick hasn't been there in 5 years?
Yeah.
So now let's dissect that a little bit. So Don Shula's grandson wants his grandfather's legacy to be untouched by somebody like Bill Belichick.
Okay.
And staying in New England, currently, that wouldn't happen. At least over the past several years, it's taken a dramatic dip. And that's the question that I was bringing up to Jerry. And Chris brings it up. Do you think you win in San Diego or other locations?
No.
Okay, since you replied first, I'll let you answer first. Go ahead.
Okay. I think his time as a 70-plus-year-old head coach is over. I think his era is over. The way of doing things and the way he coaches or has coached in the past is over. The era of the new players and new head coaches that know how to coach new young players, okay, he's not there. That's why he hasn't had the success. Besides being the GM and the head coach, I don't think he can operate under another boss, being a GM or an executive and him just being a coach. I don't think he can operate that way. I don't think he's built that way. That's why we talked last week about him being brought up as just being a head coach and succeeding the GM role. I don't think that's going to happen. I think he subscribes to the Bill Parcells. I can't if I can't buy the groceries, then that's I think he has that type of mindset, and that's over.
But do you think with the talent that's in San Diego, not San Diego, Los Angeles, that he could win with them in the AFC West? That's the gist of it. Not, the mindset of let me have the groceries, let me cook and stuff like that. But with what's already in the Chargers organization, do you see him being able to win there?
The first thing I talked about is today's players and being able to coach today's players. I think his time has passed. And I think trying to coach today's players, it ain't going to work with an old man, 70-plus years old. I think that's not going to happen. He's stuck in his ways, man. And I think that's the problem.
That could be a problem too. But I'll say this. Belichick's name rings fear in the ears and minds of offensive coordinators and players. Because they know, if not one thing, that Belichick's defense is going to be on point. And taking the weapons that are in Los Angeles on defense, think about it. If Belichick's mind or whomever is running his defense has those weapons, excuse me, and they subscribe to a offense that isn't always just big play, you can bring your former coach, Bill, what's his daggone name? Is it Callahan? The one that's the offensive coordinator in New England now. Bill
O'Brien.
Bill O'Brien. You can bring Bill O'Brien with you to the Chargers and do way more with that set of weaponry than you currently have. By far. They've already got to set up with 2 tight end system, even though they don't use 2 tight ends all the time. They have Keenan Allen, long in the tooth, so you're going to replace him at some point. Quentin Johnson, who's supposed to replace him.
Can't get over
young talent. I know, young talent. That's what I'm saying, young talent. Austin Eckler, who may or may not be there next year because of contracts and stuff like that. Herbert's there. They just paid the man. I'm not saying the guy's Brady. Not by a long shot. Not by a long shot. But he's better than Mac Jones. And he's better than any quarterback they've had since Tom Brady. So I think he could succeed there. But the problem is you got to face Andy Reid and the Chiefs twice. You'd have to face Sean Payton and an improving Denver Broncos team twice. Well, we don't know what's going to happen with the Raiders, but let's just assume they're going to start trending upward. I think he could succeed. Now, where else could he succeed? Rumors were he was going to go to Washington. With the defense, yes. Offense, no. No. I don't think he would succeed in Washington because they're not designed currently to be a power running team. They're designed to pass the ball around and run the rock occasionally. And to have their back be a pass receiving back, which Brandon Robinson is starting to become. Last week, over 100 yards receiving, couple touchdowns, but still not the type of team. And I don't think they're going to get rid of Martin Mayhew because I do believe this. If Belichick goes anywhere, I can see him going a couple places. But if he goes anywhere, like you said, Jerry, he wants to be the GM and the head coach. And his history says, hey, he can do it.
Only if he had the Hall of Fame quarterback. And he doesn't have a Hall of Fame quarterback except for Pat Mahomes. Come on, man. And the other quarterbacks in the league that are on these teams, for the most part, the head coaches are safe. For the most part, if you have a good quarterback, the head coach is going to profit from that. And the only part that you don't have that is beneficial to the team is a head coach in San Diego, a head coach in Atlanta. And come on,
I got a question though on that. And he was winning with Bledsoe. That's a good point, Chris. He was winning with Bledsoe before Brady came in. But I'm gonna throw this at you. What if, and I really think it's gonna happen, McCarthy's fired. Do you think Bill will go to Dallas and take over that organization with that defense and that offense?
The first thing I said to you, and
I know young players and
young players, man. But
that defense would love them because they know they're being a beast defense.
What's the most prominent two of the most prominent players on the Dallas Cowboys? Micah Parsons and Tavon Diggs. Very opinionated and very much of their own mind and not afraid to speak it.
No, you're right. But guess who else was that same way that he coached and was an all-pro Hall of Famer from the same position as Micah Parsons? Who did he coach?
Yeah, wait a minute.
That's right.
There's a big
Taylor.
Wait a minute. There's a big difference between Lawrence Taylor and Micah Parsons. It's not even close.
I get it, but what I'm saying is the type of talent. And Micah Parsons,
not even close.
I would say Micah Parsons is more apt to learn than Taylor was, because Taylor was telling everybody to piss off. He didn't use those terms, but he was telling Bill, what's my man named? Parcells, both Bill.
Because he had that much talent. And because he had that, Micah doesn't have a pinky amount of talent Lawrence Taylor had.
What?
He doesn't have a pinky of Lawrence Taylor. Lawrence Taylor, let me ask you this.
Lawrence Taylor couldn't cover nobody.
Wait a minute. Let me ask you this.
All right, go ahead.
Did Lawrence Taylor change the game?
Yes.
Okay. Does Micah Parsons change the game? No.
Yes.
Absolutely not. Not even
Oh,
close.
yes.
Not even
The
close.
pressure he brings, yes.
But he's one of many. He's one of many. He's one of many.
Okay.
He's one of many. So it's not like he's a generational talent. He's one of many. Lawrence
Taylor. Are you
Taylor,
serious? So how many Michael
Lawrence
Parsons
Taylor was a generational.
I get it. I get it. But how many Michael Parsons do you see currently in the NFL?
Okay. How many Lawrence Taylors do you see in the NFL? I'll put it that way.
No, I got it. You said Lawrence Taylor was a generational talent. That's his generation. I'm asking you the current generation, the current NFL. How many players played like Michael Parsons?
Let me put it this way. Let me
at his position.
Wait a minute. Let me ask you this question. Okay, then I'll answer your question. Let me ask you this question. If in Lawrence Taylor, could he play in this era? Absolutely. He could play in this era and be more disruptive than Micah Parsons. Can Micah Parsons play back in Lawrence Taylor? No. He can, but not to the extent Lawrence Taylor did.
Okay.
That's what I'm telling you.
Okay. So I'll phrase it this way. He says Matthew Judon. Matthew Judon is not better than Micah Parsons in my opinion. No. But Matthew Judon is a good player. I think Micah Parsons is a better player. And to answer your question, since you answered my question with a question, Micah Parsons could play in that era, but they're asking Micah Parsons to be a middle linebacker and an outside linebacker. They only asked Lawrence Taylor to do one thing: rush the quarterback. There's a difference. If you're telling Micah Parsons to just rush the quarterback, he's a terror. Now, I will say this, and I agree with you that LT was a generational talent because the left tackles of LT's generation are better than the left tackles of this generation.
Thank you.
However, Lawrence Taylor couldn't cover nobody. Lawrence Taylor couldn't drop in coverage. He did a couple times, but then they realized he can't do it. And they just said, you're just going to rush. You're a one-trick pony linebacker. You're a very good one-trick pony linebacker, but also, and I'm not trying to disparage Lawrence Taylor. I'm not. Lawrence Taylor admitted almost every game he ever played, he played high.
That's how good he was.
Then he played high off cocaine. You don't feel stuff. You don't. Well, I've never been high. I've never used cocaine or anything like that. But that's my point. When you have that high and that buzz and that attitude mixed together, and you're going out there and you're wreaking havoc, I mean, there's no fear, there's no anxiety, and all you know is go attack the quarterback, LT. Don't worry about the tight end. Don't worry about the running back. Go get the quarterback. Well, hold on. Next week we play. He says, what about JPP? Hell no, JPP ain't nowhere near Micah Parsons. We're talking about today's players, not yesteryears. But we spend a lot of time on this topic.
Okay.
Because we still got to talk about injured players. Oh my God.
Hey, half the AFC North quarterback position went down.
Exactly.
They're like handing the division
in one game.
Yeah.
So
within 1 week.
Well, yeah. Well, that means 3 because Lamar's nicked up. We don't know how bad, but we know he's nicked up. So,
but he ain't out.
He's not out, but he's hobbling, right? But they have a good run game, so you know he can. And he's got 10 days to heal up a little bit. So Joe Burrow gone for the year.
Unbelievable.
Watson gone for the year. They're turning to a rookie as opposed to PJ Walker. Lamar's hobbled, and we know Kenny Pickett ain't no great quarterback. So here's your AFC North quarterbacks. Yeah, moment of silence for Joe Burrow. Trust me, there are a lot of people in fantasy that was like, damn.
Damn is right. Damn is right. Damn is right.
Well, that's why I always subscribe to drafting 2 solid quarterbacks. 2 of them.
Okay.
Because this season has not been friendly or kind to anybody. Aaron Rodgers out first game of the season. Then you had quarterbacks coming in and out. Herbert with the finger.
Yep.
Other things happening. And this week, monstrosity happens. Mark Andrews out for the season, looks like. Oh my gosh. There have been so many injuries in the NFL that it's like your fantasy season is jacked. If you were at the top and you had some of these players that aren't coming back and you didn't prepare for them. And for those that were using them to get back up in there, that's part of the questions. Can somebody that was on the top of their fantasy ladder with these players stay there without them? And teams that had them and were using them, can they move up with their backups?
Look, according to quality of the backups.
Exactly, quality of the backup. In my case, in several of the leagues that I have Joe Burrow, I got Russell Wilson as a backup, or Geno Smith as a backup, or in one league I have 3 quarterbacks because it's a crazy league. I've got Herbert, Burrow, and Kyler Murray. So now I just got Herbert and Kyler Murray. It's wild. Justin Fields returns, but who knows how long his time at quarterback is going to be. I think he's auditioning to get traded. Anytime you have I'm not going to say it's a slight sprain, but your non-throwing hand, right? And they decide to go with a rookie guy for 3 to 4 games. And the rookie guy comes in and looks better than you have in the same system, albeit y'all didn't win that many games. What does that say about him? Macaroni Tony, benched and relegated to the 3rd quarterback. I don't know if you knew that. Audition to be traded too. Mac Jones was relegated to the 3rd quarterback during a bye week. That's crazy. Talk to me, JT.
Let me say something, man. I gotta say something. This is it's a killer to a lot of players when you have your good quarterbacks going down. Not just the quarterback position.
Oh no,
if the quarterback is the wide receivers.
Yep.
Lamar Chase, T. Higgins, Tyler Boyd, Amari Cooper, David Njoku. Those are prominent players on their offenses and on people's fantasy offense. It's not just the quarterback position. It's a residual effect of players that you have that you're relying on the quarterback to be healthy and be able to get the ball to the players in question. When you have a player at the magnitude and the type of offense that they have in the quarterback position, it can be a killer to a lot of fantasy teams that have been riding high on players, quarterbacks, quite naturally, and the pass catchers to those quarterbacks. And it even affects the running game, how the offenses are run.
So, that goes like prime example. What happened with the Bengals Thursday night? Once Joe Burrow went out, Joe Mixon was ineffective.
Yeah.
He was ineffective. Yeah. But while he was in there, Mixon was killing it.
He was killing people. And the fact is, these guys, defensive coordinator. Okay. Joe Burrow, big name quarterback, big arm, and accurate. Okay. We don't have to worry too much, fellas, on the defensive side of the ball, because we know we got a backup in there now So let's just stop the running game. Let's key in on the running game and let's think an afterthought. And the fact is this. If you look at the game, people, for example, and I'll make this quick. You look at the game of the backup quarterback, what happened in that game? Jamar Chase, Tyler Boyd were essentially weren't even thought about. What happened? When a backup comes, he usually goes to what he likes the most. Trent Irwin was the main
he practices with.
Yes, the Trent Irwin was the main wide receiver he was looking at. The tight ends, a safe throw for a young quarterback is the tight end position. Okay, that's what happened in that game. And if you had Trent Irwin, you benefited because he was getting targeted if you had lucky enough to put Trent Irwin in there and thinking that, well, I'll put Trent Irwin in there, not knowing that Joe Burrow was going to get hurt. The backup was going to go mainly to Trent Irwin because he was comfortable throwing to that wide receiver because he's used to practicing, just like Victor said. Backups. Okay, that's what's going to happen, and we'll get into it tomorrow, 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time on For No Reason.
All right. And Chris, to answer your question, do some of these stinky teams have a chance to creep up? I say yes. That's why when Jerry was talking about, half of the NFC North got their quarterbacks got hurt. Think about it. All the teams in the NFC North, except for the Bengals, are in the playoffs if they end today.
Yep.
Today. But DRT or DTR, I'm sorry, is the quarterback of the Browns. I don't see them getting more wins under DRT with their schedule left. DRT might be an explosive player, but I don't see him getting them into the playoffs at all. This kid, I don't even remember his name for Cincinnati. Definitely not. That's why they got Joe Burrow out there. Not Joe Burrow. Joe Flacco interviewing for an opportunity to be their quarterback. They're not in the playoffs, but understand what I'm saying. If Lamar goes down, Snoop Huntley has proven that he can be the quarterback that leads them to a playoff, but then he also lost in the playoff as well. So there's a little confidence there. But Mark Andrews gone too? Now Isaiah likely becomes the big target at tight end. Odell Beckham, who had a hell of a game, also injured. I don't see that much happening with the Ravens if Lamar's out. Pittsburgh they're in the playoffs now. All they got to do is play consistent football, and they'll win the division. Back to the earlier comparison of who Michael Parsons can compare to, I would say JT Watt. But at the same time, as LT, you had Derek, what's my man name? He died early for Kansas City Chiefs. Derek, I just had his name in my head. Monster. DN. I can't remember his name. Derek. Anyway, both of them same time frame. Just so happened Derek died, unfortunately. But anyway, TJ Watt and company can do their jobs. Pittsburgh keeps winning. Do they stink? No. But are they really good? No. Joshua Dobbs comes to mind when you talk about, because I didn't even talk about Kirk Cousins being gone for the season. Didn't even talk about that.
How about that?
But Joshua Dobbs comes in off the street, pulls a Baker Mayfield. And O'Connell says he knew he was the guy they wanted because of his degree. Astrophysics. He's an astronaut. He literally went to school to be an astronaut. And Dobbs has quietly become
highly intelligent. Highly intelligent.
Yes, highly intelligent. And that's the thing. He's able. Hey, I need to take this. I need to take this, JT. Take over for a second.
Okay. All right, people. Let me tell you something there. Highly intelligent and able to pick up a scheme, which is basic. Most schemes are basic with a different variation. And Joshua Dobbs is able to pick up that. Obviously, you saw that when he played Atlanta and was able to bring back the team to a win. And then the week after, he played well. And now we're going to see what he can do against the Denver defense. Okay, that has been vastly improving. And whether that the redeeming factor is this. If I'm not mistaken, they're playing at home. And most teams, including the Dome team, play better at home than they do on the road. And Joshua Dobbs is falling right into that. And like I had said before about this, I love the offense. It's apparently it must be an easy pickup for players, especially the quarterback position, to pick up the offense. And them going up against, I'm trying to get this here, going up against the Denver. Oh, I'm sorry, they're not going home. They're playing on the road. So you may see a different Dobbs. He does have an offense that he can run with his legs. And we'll talk about this more when we get to the games. Okay? But with injuries comes surprises. And one of the surprises for most people, I wasn't surprised. I was disappointed that they let him go out of Cleveland. But one of the surprises, I wasn't disappointed because he played well when he was with the Arizona Cardinals. And then they moved him over to Minnesota after Kirk Cousins went down, and they didn't miss a beat. Hockenson was one of the choices to get the ball thrown to him, along with Jordan Addison. Didn't miss a beat. Okay? So for the most part, up until we'll see. Let me put it this way, because Cincinnati, even with their backup, lost big time against the division rival, the Baltimore Ravens, and we don't know what's going to happen with the Pittsburgh Steelers and Cleveland Browns when we get to that game. We'll talk about it. I give you my thoughts on it because I'm a Cleveland Brown fan, as you can see, and then we'll find out my thoughts on what's going to happen.
Jerry, go ahead and go into that because I have to take this phone call.
Okay, so we'll go into this. Let me go into this. And it's a Cleveland Browns again and hosting the Pittsburgh Steelers. Last time they played, P.J. Walker, if I'm not mistaken, was playing, or whoever quarterback was playing, but didn't play well. And the Pittsburgh Steelers came out with a win at home. I already told you I didn't like Kenny Pickett, and I really don't like Kenny Pickett because the Cleveland Browns are playing at home. Know they have a rookie quarterback, and know they need to limit what Kenny Pickett can do, along with this offense. Okay, along with Najee Harris, quite naturally, you're going to try to run the football a lot. Cleveland is very good. It's pretty good against the run, very good against the pass, and have a hellified pass rush. And I like Cleveland Browns to win this. I know I'm a homer, but they haven't just disappointed me, but one game, and that was against the Pittsburgh Steelers. Mike Tomlin is waving his magic wand, and he's done some miraculous things with this team, getting out played yardage wise by mostly every team that they played, and still be able to win. They're 6-3, just like the Cleveland Browns, but they beat the Cleveland Browns, so they're in second place right now in the division. And the Cleveland Browns are third. And the Bengals are in last place. Okay, who would have thought that? But I like the Cleveland Browns to win this at home. They know, both teams know what's important here. Okay. Both teams know that it's important to win in the division. The Cleveland Browns are, if I'm not mistaken, 2-2 in the division. If I'm not mistaken. The Pittsburgh Steelers are, I think, 2-0. Yeah, 2-0 in the division. Okay. They haven't lost a division game yet. The Cleveland Browns are 2-2 in the division. They lost to Baltimore and they lost to Pittsburgh. So even though the if Cleveland wins this game, they're still going to be in third place because they're 2-2 in the division, and Pittsburgh is 2-1. Would be 2-1. They would have lost in the division, so they would have a better record in the division. Even though, well, no, they would have They would have have a better record. They'll
have a better overall record.
Yes,
so
yes. I stand corrected. They would be 7-3, and Pittsburgh would be 6-4. Third place in the division. Okay. In this game, Mister. In this game,
they'll be right behind.
Yes.
Remember, because and I'm sorry to jump back in just like this, but the IRS, they don't want to pay me my money, but it's okay. Because I'm coming. I'm coming. Okay. So the Ravens are 8-3. Whoever wins this game, if it's not a tie, would be 7-3, putting them both directly behind the Ravens by a half a game. Because I don't think the Ravens had their bye week yet. You're picking the Browns.
I'm picking the Browns.
I'm picking the Steelers because I think DTR is not going to stand a chance versus Watt and company on that blitz. Now, we made a trade, and I wanted to bring this up because I want to dog Van out. Because, Van, you are the worst trader ever.
Oh,
ever.
Wow.
And I'm telling you this, I love you. We have been friends for over 30 years. More than 30 years, actually. Damn it.
I can attest to that.
About, when I was 12, 35 years. Van, I love you, but you are the worst ever. And I know he's listening because he's driving his truck. You are the worst ever trade offer in history. Jerry and I just made a trade. We don't agree on a lot. Ever. This is the odd couple. This guy and me. But we made an agreement that was feasible for both of us.
Yep.
Jerome Ford is probably about to tote the rock 30 times. Or at least 20, 25, and then Kareem Hunt's going to tote the other 20, 25. You know who's going to not benefit in this situation and why I'm picking Pittsburgh? Amari Cooper. I forgot who the number 2 receiver is because it ain't the guy you said it was going to be, the rookie. Excuse me. And Elijah Moore has not shown up.
Oh, yes, he has. He scored a touchdown last week. Oh, yes, he has.
Okay, to be known as the number 2 is what I'm saying, right? So stopping the run is a problem for Pittsburgh, but I think Pittsburgh is going to do enough to beat Cleveland because they have a better offense. Right now, DTR, look, I don't know if they're going to spy him or not because the kid likes to run. He's not a small guy, but he definitely ain't big. You can't run that rock in the NFL like you did at UCLA. I'm just be honest. With that being the case, I look for Ford to have a lot of runs. That's why I really didn't want to trade him. But I got Pacheco. I got Njoku, who I think is going to benefit from DTR being there because he's going to try to give him the ball. And who else did I get, JT? No, that was it. Right? Pacheco, Njoku.
Mm-hmm. That's it.
Or for Ford.
Mm-hmm.
And I know I'm missing out because we do every time the running back touches the ball, they get a point. So Jerry's looking to get a lot of points from that one player, and the combination of the two balances out. But Jerry, I'm gonna ask you a question, and I know I'm jumping all over the place, but the IRS got me upset because they're not trying to give me a lot of money they owe me for 5 years plus interest.
Okay.
So if you're an IRS person, I'm coming. Not in that way. Not in that way.
Yeah, well, you shouldn't have said it that way.
Not in that way.
You shouldn't have said it that way, man.
I didn't mean it. I want my money though. But
that's what you should have said. I want my money. That's what you should have said.
I did say that. But Van offers me, and this
you put him on blast like that.
Oh yeah, I told him I was going to do it because I told him to call in. God. I gave him the invite and everything. Oh God! Let me make sure I ain't missing no comments. They said shout out to Van. I agree, Van is the worst. I agree, Van is the worst ever. He thinks. Now I want Devin Singletary from him, right? I was like, okay, cool. I have a good backup. I was going to send him a decent player for Singletary. He sends me first. He thinks Gabe Davis is equal to Mike Evans.
What?
Yeah. Oh. Then he also thinks Gabe Davis is equal to Cooper Kupp. He said that's a 1-for-1. That's an even trade. Wow. I'm like, bro, what are you talking about?
Come on, man.
Bro,
really?
Hey, I got another phone call. I got to take this other phone call, bro. Hold on. This is IRS again. Hold on. I'll bring the story back. Go to the next game.
They've probably been listening. Anyway, I'm gonna say this, and I'm not gonna say what was asked of me from Van, but I make a habit. Okay. Up until this point, after today, there's no more trading because the trade deadline will be passed. But this is the issue, and I had this with Mr. FSP, and I wouldn't say I had him set him straight, but I had him set him straight. What I'm saying is this: when you have a matchup, and your matchup is asking to trade with you. It's not a smart thing. If they're trying to improve your team, quite naturally, you're trying to improve yours, and you don't trade with a matchup. Van, okay, if it wasn't a matchup between you and I, there may have been a chance for a trade. But when you try to trade with me, and we have the same week, we're going up against each other, and that trading is not going to happen. Not going to happen. Anybody that trades with me, and I'm matching up with them that week, I'm not trading with. It's not smart to trade with somebody that you're going up against, because the fact is, are you going to trade to improve that team, to beat you? No. So if we're in a matchup, and I had to talk to Mr. FSP and tell him this, if we're in a matchup against each other that week, and I'm not trying to trade with you, and you shouldn't be trying to trade with me, because Tony
got something for you. Tony got something for you, JT.
I'm not. Yeah, absolutely. I love Olave is equal to Pittman, and that's right. He is. Chris Olave is equal to Michael Pittman. Olave is the number one.
I see what you're saying, but go ahead. Defend.
Olave is the number one wide receiver in
New Orleans.
In New Orleans, I know Pittman's the number one wide receiver in Pittman. I said this before. Okay, you don't agree with the trade?
Hold on. Time out. Before you go further, you have Olave, and you were willing to give Pittman over Olave?
Yep.
I would have did that.
Well, if you listen to what I just said.
I mean, just me on without me listening. I would have did that.
I haven't finished my my response. everybody, and this is what I was going to say. Everyone has a different opinion of their players. Everyone has a different opinion of their players. Okay, you don't like Olave? No problem. Just kick it to the curb. No problem. I just made an offer, and I made an offer. I think I added another to that offer, and I was told I don't need that player. I said, okay, so I'll make the same offer, but I'll exclude that player. All you have to do is reject it. I got no problem with that. I'm not going to come back at you anymore. I understand. Okay? It's not a problem. I never comment. I shouldn't say I never comment.
Well, it was just accepted. It was just accepted.
Okay. No problem.
I hate y'all because I wanted Olave. Hey,
no problem. No
Tony,
problem.
I know we play each other, but send them my way. You can't use them this week, though, Tony.
That's fine. That's the reason. That's the reason why I made that, because the fact is I know Pittman's on a bye, and so is Olave. That's the one of the reasons why I made it. They're both number one wide receivers. They're both going to get their targets. Now, what happens to those targets is a different story. Is a different story, and it's got to do with game script and quite naturally the defense they go against. Okay, no problem.
All right, look, let me get back to Van because I got to finish roasting Van because half the league listening to this.
What I'm saying is this. I don't trade with matchups. I told Victor this before when he tried to trade with when we were going against each other. I don't trade because the fact is I'm not going to give you somebody that's going to beat me. That's not going to happen.
That's not going to happen. They're going to beat you, but maybe not that week. All right, let me finish roasting Van.
Go ahead. I'm sorry, man. Van.
Here's the trade.
What can I tell you?
I mean, all those other trades were bull, but here's the trade that really upset me. Really upset me.
Oh boy, you can take it personal, man. Jesus.
Okay, let me ask you how you would take it. I asked for Devin Singletary. Trading. Whatever, Sam. Whatever.
I got to thank Tony for accepting that trade. You know what?
Whatever.
Hey, let me put it this way. I consider
finish the story. Go ahead.
I consider myself.
I couldn't even finish the story. But go ahead.
I consider myself. What's the guy's? I can't remember the name. I can't believe I can't remember this name. Kevin Costner in draft day. What was his name?
I don't know.
Oh, okay. What? Sonny Weaver Jr. I consider myself because I consider myself a pretty good trader.
Okay, well, good trader. Here's the deal. Let's see if you think this is a good trade. Devin Singletary, Isaiah Likely, and Romeo Doubs for Deontay Johnson, Kenneth Walker, and Njoku.
I could go along with Deontay Johnson and Njoku, but Kenneth Walker, that ain't even close.
Okay, what about wait a minute. What about Singletary for Walker straight up?
Nope. Can't do it.
Why? Tell me why.
Okay. Are you serious?
I'm serious. I'm not saying you're wrong. I just want to know why you don't think that's it.
Well, let me put it this way: Kenneth Walker is what I consider is a top 10 back in the NFL. I don't consider Devin Singletary to be in that, even though he's probably getting most of the touches. But what happens if Dameon Pierce comes back? He's going to take a secondary role. He's going to take a secondary role. That's going without saying, because they like Dameon Pierce the most.
Thank you.
So,
but Van, and I love you, Van. Just remember that. I said, why would I trade you my best starting running back for somebody that's on the bench? That's a bench player. Now he took that as saying that Singletary is not a starter, and Walker. I'm like, no, dude. I would never put Singletary in my lineup as a starter unless I had to. Walker, I'm starting, period. Every game he's playing, I'm starting him. And again, his thought process on Gabe Davis is, oh, you'll get double points with Gabe Davis and Josh Allen. I'm like, dude, Davis has only had 3 decent games all season. And when I had Devontae Adams, let me get Devontae Adams for Gabe. Let me get Cooper Kupp for Gabe. Van. Bro, I love you. I respect you, but bruh, I don't know how. It's your schedule. It is your schedule. It is Van's schedule. When he played the teams he played, how he is in the top 4 of the league. I'm like, bro. But anyway, all right, enough of that. We only did 1 game so far, and we're already into an hour of the show.
Let me put it this way. Like I said before, everybody has their own opinion about their players.
Yes.
The value of their players.
Yeah, apparently Van's opinion of those.
It is what it is.
Bums.
Huey. It is what it is, Huey.
You lucky. Now, I ain't on LinkedIn. Anyway, this is an easy game to call right here. I think Tony's going to get like 50 points on the defense, which scares me because I play Tony this week. Cowboys at the Panthers. Oof. I've got the Panthers. You got the Cowboys. Oof. Look, Panthers looked kind of decent last week. Frank Wright took over the play calling duties. And, it is what it is. But Bryce Young is not getting much help. Chuba Hubbard is the main running back, but now he's splitting down the middle, actually, with Miles Sanders. Hayden Hurst has become like, why don't y'all throw him the ball?
I told you I didn't like Miles Sanders. Beginning of the season.
Yeah. I mean, you did.
Lousy offensive line. Lousy offense.
You have the Cowboys, bro. You got the Cowboys.
Yeah, I know that.
All right, so let me finish with the Panthers.
Well, go ahead.
Go ahead. All right.
You shouldn't have much to say.
But I got to. Part of the job.
Okay.
So anyway, the Hayden Hurst isn't getting much love. Adam Thielen's now getting doubled because he was killing all the teams before. But Jonathan Mingo, where you at? Granted, there's not much time to throw the ball, but the last couple games, offensive line has looked a little better. But it's not going to get no better against the Dallas Cowboys. Not against that defensive front and that defensive secondary. I definitely got the Cowboys in this game. I got them by at least 2 scores. JT.
Same here. Not much to say. The offense is rolling now. Dak's on a hot streak. So is their main wide receiver. Carolina's one of the worst teams. One of the worst teams against the run. I expect Dak to flourish in the play action. And CeeDee Lamb and whoever else in the passing game is going to flourish. I mean, this is not going to be. I mean, you got the Giants, and then you have the Carolina Panthers. This is a good run for the Cowboys to get right. Get right.
It is. The
last couple of weeks.
The problem go ahead.
Go ahead.
I was gonna say the problem I see with the Cowboys is they're only throwing the ball to CeeDee Lamb and Ferguson. Now I like Ferguson. But you're neglecting a great talent. And I dropped him, and I saw you and Tony went after him, Brandon Cooks. I don't know why they're not throwing the ball to Brandon Cooks more. I really don't. I understand Michael Gallup isn't even getting the targets he should get either. But it's like it's either CeeDee Lamb, Tony Pollard, or Ferguson. And that's the complete offense. I don't know what to tell you. But again, this game should be relatively easy. It's part of the gameplay. Well, Brandon Cooks was running wide open versus the Giants, and he didn't get much love. But anyway, next game. The return of Justin Fields to the Chicago Bears, who take on the hot, and I'm going to bite your kneecaps off, and you better wear a diaper when we play these games because you never know what's going to happen because you might mess yourself. Detroit Lions. Listen, David Montgomery comes back this week. This goes into what JT was talking about earlier with the Atlanta Falcons, with the timeshare with Algier and Bijan. Unfortunately, I think Gibbs' touches are going to be reduced slightly, or enough to the point that David Montgomery does not get pulled out the game. He was a battering ram. He got the tough yards. And again, you're going against the Bears defense. Since Montez Sweat has been there, 2 games he's been there, that defensive front has gotten a great pass rush, but they haven't been stopping the run as much. So I expect the running game here, Montgomery, maybe a little Gibbs to take off. Secondarily, I see St. Brown being St. Brown, Laporta being a great rookie that he is, getting in the end zone as well. The problem is this. That boy, Williamson, he likes to drop the ball. I don't know if they got a number 2 up there at all. I really don't. But I do believe Detroit has more than enough to beat up on the Bears. JT, you got the Bears.
Okay. Welcome back, Justin Fields. What's it going to look like? Most people don't know what it's going to look like. They're playing in Chicago, the division game. You expect Detroit to run the score up. I expect the Bears to be throwing a lot. And that's throwing a lot, and that's why that's one of the reasons why I think Justin Fields is going to benefit from what happens with the Detroit offense. Detroit, it's middle of the pack, if I'm not mistaken. They're weaker against the pass than they are against the run. Okay. Yeah. And that's going to force Justin Fields to be able to pass the ball, plus use his legs. I think this is going to be a 2-score game in favor of the Detroit Lions. I think they're going to try to run the score up. And I think the Chicago Bears are going to have to throw to keep up.
I do too.
Okay.
With that being said, I think on the comment Sammy made, I'm speaking with my heart and not my head. I'm not the one that said that David Montgomery's still the number 1 running back. That was the head coach. And I don't think you succeed a lot of the touches from the starter to the 1B. So that's not me, Sammy. Talk to the head coach. But your team's already banged up. He lost his tight end. He lost his star wide receiver. But he's still number 1 in the league. Go figure. Good GM. Next game up, the Chargers go to Green Bay. I got Green Bay. Jerry has the Chargers. Listen, I don't like Justin Love at all. Not at all.
Jordan Love.
I call him Justin Love because he just like Justin Fields. But Jordan Love, again, unless it's happening through Aaron Jones, the team is not that good. Romeo Doubs, Watson, none of them have been valuable unless Aaron Jones has been in the lineup. He's in the lineup. He's battling hamstring issues. But I think San Diego's defense is good enough to stop the Green Bay Packers offense. Green Bay's defense is not as bad as it has been, but they're just not that good of a team. LaFleur is a product of Aaron Rodgers. That's what I'm going to tell you. He's a product of Aaron Rodgers. Jordan Love has had his ups and downs this season. Basically, it's his 5th year, but he's a rookie for all intents and purposes. I don't think, even though I want to see Staley gone, I think he's gone regardless, I don't think the Chargers lose this game. I don't see a way the Chargers lose this game, and even though it's in Lambeau Field. JT, you got it.
Okay, do me a favor and give me the last comment Show it up there, please. Chargers defense is suspect and will allow Green Bay to stay in the game. What? Who is the head coach of the Chargers?
I know.
Is he a defensive-minded coach? The defense sucks. The defense sucks. They're one of the worst teams against the pass. This is the Charger team with a defensive-minded coach. That is one of the worst teams against the pass. Come on, man. Let me put it this way.
But Love ain't a good thrower.
Green Bay, just like you said, is going to hang into this game. Is LA with, in my opinion, the superior talent on both sides of the ball going to win this game? I think it's going to come down within the last 5 minutes of the game. 5 minutes of the game is going to dictate who's going to win this game. And can you trust the Chargers? Hopefully, with the superior talent, it's going to come out near the end of the game. And I think the Chargers are going to win this game. But being the head coach, him taking whatever stupid chances he takes against opposing offenses, come on, man. Come on. This should be an easy game. But I don't have the faith in the head coach making the right calls at the right time for the Chargers to go away with an easy game or easy win. I like the Chargers, but I think it's going to be close.
Okay. I don't know, Tony. I don't know if he's out before the season's end. I wanted him to be out by like week 6, but somehow, some way he's staying in there. But he should be gone before the end of the season. Next game up, and I got again give Jerry his props on my guy, my boomer, my Sooner, Kyler Murray, who won the game last week.
Yep.
He basically won the game last week.
Yep.
But
I was hot last week. I was hot last week.
You were. That's why I said I came on the show giving you props, and I haven't, knocked you down yet.
Yeah.
I know.
I was hot.
This week, they're going against a hot team, and presumably the rookie of the year, C.J. Stroud, and the Houston Texans. You got the Cardinals. I've got the Texans. Nico Collins didn't play last week, and they still find a way to dominate that game. He's back this week. Tank Dell is a guy that should be picked up or should be on somebody's team. If he's not,
Texans pass catchers should all be on somebody's roster. I'm telling you right now, because he spreads the ball around a lot, and they all benefit.
Bro, can I talk about the Texans, please? I know you're excited about your team or your former team, but can I please talk about
the quarterback that I was?
I understand, but can I do it, please?
Go ahead. I'm sorry, man.
Thank you.
I apologize. Don't get excited.
I know my veins started to pop out in my neck, and it started to hurt. It started to hurt, so I can't be doing that.
Don't get excited.
I know. Anyway, I'm gonna show you the scar too when we go off air. Okay. It's nasty, bro. But anyway, the Texans are as hot as fish grease right now. Yep. They really are. Yep. That's a Southern term if y'all have never heard that. I'll say this. C.J. Stroud, even though Jerry didn't like him because he's an Ohio State quarterback, he's changed his mind a little bit. You know why you want Jerry to speak? Because he's in your division. That's the only reason why you want him to speak.
No, okay.
But I'm going to get to the part because I was going to big up C.J. Stroud, but you took it away from me.
You don't value my opinion, but that's okay.
Dude, your opinion is for the Cardinals right now.
Yeah.
All right. So, as I said, Tank Dell and the rest of those guys, they're proving that they're a damn good team. Surprisingly, the defense isn't that bad. It isn't. They're at home. They play a lot better at home, too. I don't know if Kyler can do it. I need Kyler to do it because the closer, if the Texans win tomorrow and the Jaguars win next week, is pretty much for the division. Pretty much. And then they've got another final game. I mean, Jacksonville will still be up one game, but oh my gosh. This one is with my heart. I mean, this one is not with my heart. Well, this is with my heart, not my head. I got to go with Arizona only because I think Connor and Kyler's return are going to be spell trouble for the defense of the Texans. Go ahead, JT.
Man,
I am not going to show what Tony said. Tony, that's why I brought you on the show.
Let me say this. Let me say this. I'm not a Kyler Murray fan, but I like Kyler Murray a lot last week. A lot. And to the surprise of Mr. FSP, thinks I'm a hater. Not
you
a hater.
Are.
I'm not a hater. I just look at facts. I just look at what I see.
Yeah.
And like I told you last week when I saw his press conference prior to the last week's game, it seemed like a different Kyler Murray. And it showed me on the field that the maturity he looked like he showed in the press conference translated to the field. I think this team, this is going to be a shootout. I think it's going to be a shootout. I think both these teams are going to put up points. But I think the Houston Texans, because they're playing at home, because the quarterback is playing exceptional against a inferior defense, and spreads the ball around smartly. I think Houston's going to win this game, but I think it's going to be a shootout, plain and simple. But I got it.
Is it close or is it?
No. I think it's going to be close to a 2-score game, meaning that I think Houston's going to come out on top because they average, if I'm not mistaken, they average over 24 points a game, if I'm not mistaken. Okay. And this quarterback, the way he's playing, and this defense, which he's going up against on the road, I don't think they can keep up with this Houston offense the way it's constructed. So I like the Houston Texans to win by at least 10 points in this game.
10?
At least 10 points. At least 10 points in this game. I think they're going to outscore them. The Arizona defense can't keep up with this offense. It can't.
You're disrespectful. Not you, Tony. You're disrespectful.
You know what? I call it like I see it. Now I got to see. This was the first week. This is the second week, and I got to see Kyler Murray on the road. If he progresses in last week to this week, I got to change my opinion of Kyler Murray, and I'll freely admit it. But I got to see some type of progression, and not revert back to prior injury Kyler Murray. Let me put it that way.
Okay. Give me a second.
With your dog snoring, but that's okay.
Dude, leave him alone.
I'm not bothering him. He's been snoring the whole program. So
I know. I know.
Whatever.
I know. Leave my baby alone. There's a good chance they probably put him to sleep when we take him to the vet. So leave him alone. You're gonna make me come through this daggone camera on you. I love my baby. I've had him since he was 8 weeks old. All right. And look, he stopped snoring. See? He heard you talking bad about him. The Titans versus the Jaguars.
Okay.
Oh, then he snores again.
Okay.
You got the Titans and Will Levis. I've got the Jaguars. Listen, ladies and gentlemen. The Jaguars will rebound because they got their butts whooped by San Francisco before the Jags by 28. Oh, my God. I hope. I don't think it's going to be that way, but I hope. They got whooped by San Francisco. That was a bitter pill to have in their mouth. Then they come back last week and they win. I think they're going to take out their frustrations on Tennessee. Will Levis is the star for the rest of the season. Will Levis is rather erratic. Jaguars defense is very, very opportunistic. Very opportunistic. The problem is they're not that good at stopping the run. So if they, meaning the Titans, run that rock with Derrick Henry all game, it's going to be a long day for Jacksonville. But Jacksonville also needs to throw the ball to Calvin Ridley. I don't understand why the game planning is not for Calvin Ridley, who is their number one receiver, but it goes to everyone but him until the fourth quarter. Travis Etienne is doing his job. It's at home. Jacksonville wins this game, not by 28, but I say they probably win this game by maybe 9 or 10. JT, you've got the Tennessee Titans.
Okay. Let me tell you something here, people. Tennessee is 3-6. Jacksonville is 6-3. This is important. This is the divisional game because next week, Jacksonville's at Houston. That's one of the games for the division. That's going to be a must-see TV.
I think so.
That's going to be must-see TV. And they're at Houston. Then they have to play Houston again at the end of the season. So, but at home. But this is going down to the wire. It's going down to the wire. I tasted Benjamin coming my way. But for this week, Tennessee's the worst, if one of not the worst teams against the pass. If Calvin Ridley is going to eat, this is the week that happens.
Yeah.
If it's not this week, it ain't going to happen. It's a bust. Let me put it this way. To me, up until this season, he's a bust. Okay. Up until now, he's a bust. Because the fact that we thought, okay, Christian Kirk was getting a lot of love last season.
Yeah.
From Lawrence. Trevor Lawrence.
Mm-hmm.
Well, he's getting a lot of love, even with the acquisition of Calvin Ridley. I'm not going to talk about anybody on the Titans because, to me, Derrick Henry ain't the king when you have the rookie running back getting a 50-50 split. That's what you're getting. You're getting a 50-50 split in running backs with Tyjae Spears and Derrick Henry, who's more versatile than Derrick Henry because he catches the ball out of the backfield. There's no really strong, viable options that you can rely on in Tennessee. And with Jaguars playing home, just like another AFC South team, other than the Houston Texans, they play well at home, even though they got dogged out by a superior team in San Francisco. Yeah. They're going to get the Jacksonville's going to dog out the Tennessee Titans. I like the Jacksonville Jaguars to at least win this game. It's a question mark next week.
Next week's going to be interesting. All right. You got the Raiders. I got the Dolphins. Now, look. Antonio Pierce, love him. Hope he gets the job. But he's running into a litany of bad teams to play if he really wants this job. Starting this week versus the Dolphins. Raheem Morris is playing. Tua's good. Hill is good. Listen, the Raiders will be competitive. Their defense is, in my opinion, their defense is carrying the team because the offense is sluggish. The question is, can they stop Miami big play offense? Never mind the run. Can they stop the big plays in the passing game? Because Miami, here's the thing. Waddle is one of the best receivers in the NFL, but this year you have rarely heard his name because Tyreek is that dude. And the running game is on point. I'm telling you that there's what is Sammy? See, Sammy likes to put stuff up. Oh, yeah, that Tyler Higbee and drop Kenneth Gainwell. Okay, anyway. 1.5 champs is he's panicking. And Chris, shut your filthy potty mouth. I know you UCF beat Oklahoma, so shut your potty mouth up.
Wow. Okay.
All right. Tony wants to come in. He says he won't say nothing about Kyler Mayfield or Oklahoma.
Bring
I
Tony
don't
in.
trust you, Tony.
Please bring Tony in.
I don't know because the show's already
man.
going on 2 hours.
Come on, man. I thought this was a free for all show. I thought we have free access or easy access to bring anybody on. Why are you trying to censor somebody?
Because I have the right to censor. But I might bring Tony on. Let me finish talking about Miami real quick. And then you go to the Raiders and I'll bring him on. I'll bring you on when he talks about the Raiders. Just give me a second.
He said, come on, Vic.
I can read.
Okay.
So anyway.
Well, you're not showing it. That's why I said that.
Miami is at home for this game. Here's the question. And I know Miami's tired of it. Let's say they beat the Raiders, and like Chris said, by 13. Oh, he agreed with JT. Now y'all some jokers, man. And Tony says by 9. Let's say they beat them by that. The whole mindset is Miami can't beat the better teams, but they can beat up on the lesser teams. They need to beat up on the Raiders. But I don't see them winning by 9. I don't see them winning by 13. But I do see them winning. That's it. Now I'm gonna go ahead and invite Tony in.
Come on, man.
You go ahead and talk about the Raiders.
No. Well, you want me to talk about the Raiders?
Yeah, I said I'm going to invite Tony in while you talk about the Raiders.
Okay. Anthony Pierce said, our main guy.
Anthony. Oh, so you went.
Anthony Pierce.
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
Can I finish?
That's his regular name. I didn't know if people knew that.
Let me finish and then I'll tell you. Anthony Pierce, who's the head coach of the Las Vegas Raiders, said we're going to run the ball. He's a defensive-minded coach, so he's staying true to his word. We're going to run the ball, and try to get the ball to Devontae Adams. Okay? Notice I said try to get the ball to Devontae Adams. That doesn't necessarily mean that it's going to happen, but they're going to try to get the ball to Devontae Adams. Okay? So they're going to have to outscore Miami. And that ain't going to happen. That ain't going to happen. In Miami, with a bye week, with a chance for Jalen Waddle to get healthy and Devon A-Chain to get healthy and come back and get back into the starting lineup, we're talking about offense all over this field. With the Raiders being on the road and playing in Miami, no contest. No contest. I like the Miami Dolphins.
Okay, Tony, I sent you that invite. So you should get it.
Tony.
And you know what?
Come on in, Tony.
You're
right on time because we're going next should be
What can I say what I'm about to say?
Okay, go right ahead, man.
Sammy is a jerk. Sammy is loosely tied in his brain.
Why are you dogging people out?
Because Sammy just sent me an offer for Mark Andrews. Mark Andrews is out for the season. He has a cracked fibula.
Okay.
He will only come back as if the actual Ravens, make the playoffs.
Okay.
I hate you so much right now, Sammy.
Okay.
I'm gonna reject that trade so quickly.
Okay.
But now we're waiting on Tony to jump on board.
Notice people. I don't put people on blast when they.
Oh, whatever.
I do not put people on blast.
I do.
Let me put it this way.
Oh my gosh, this guy.
With trading partners, regardless if it's accepted or not, I keep it in-house. Private messages, I keep it in-house. You don't see me putting people on blast.
Don't believe that.
That makes for respect as a good trader. Trust me, people.
No,
that
it doesn't.
makes respect. I'm trying to teach this young man about how to trade, and he's not learning. He just can't help himself. He likes putting people on blast.
I don't
believe that.
I believe in putting him on blast. You weren't saying this stuff when I was talking about Van. You were agreeing with me. So I don't want to hear that. I don't want to hear that. But we're going to bring Tony in. Tony's chilling at his house.
What's up, my man? I want to thank you, Tony. I want to thank you.
What's the problem, fellas?
I want to thank you, man. I want to thank you. I really appreciate it. We went back and forth a little bit.
Yeah.
What's up, young man?
When it comes to trades, they got to be equitable for both teams.
Right.
And like the
exactly.
one you said,
Say that again. Say that again.
The one you said with the running back, I was like, I don't need no running backs, but yeah, they got to be equitable for both teams. So
thank you. That's exactly.
The only reason they don't be equitable if one team is fire selling because they know they're not gonna make the playoffs and they trying to help somebody else win.
I totally agree. I've been preaching that for years. I totally believe that. Some people don't believe that. Some
like his son saying, what I'm going to tell you.
What's up there, young man? How you doing?
Good. What I'm going to tell you is, Jerry always says one person values players different than the other. So now he's with the, oh yes, it's going to be equitable. Both of y'all, zip it.
Tony, now, do you think that was an equitable trade?
I said
the difference between that one with, like I said, the thing that makes our trade questionable, so to speak, will be quarterback play. But again, depending on which, my bad. Why you drop my phone, Ranger? Depending on which quarterback plays in, because Indy's quarterback is pretty much Minshew, but whichever quarterback plays in New Orleans, I mean, Olave is still gonna be the number one because Thomas can't stay healthy and things like that. So they both can be number one receivers. So it'll come down to quarterback play. But if you look at statistically, I mean, I think Pittman had 10 more catches, but they both had the same amount of yards and the same amount of touchdowns. So you ultimately end up with a wash. And the good thing, like you said, they both won bye week at the same time. So it's pretty much an even trade all across.
Thank you.
Well,
thank you, Tony. Thank you.
Excuse me. Let Tony call in on Sunday, and y'all can have this love fest. Not on this show. No love fest on this show. I'm going to the Giants versus Washington. I've got Washington. You've got the Giants. Look.
I don't want them.
We were talking. I don't care if you want it or not.
You shouldn't even have to pick this game.
Shout out to man, best trade partner ever. Oh my God. Let me see if they made a trade. No, but yeah, Van gave him the world for nothing, basically. But let me digress. Washington, in my opinion, they lost the first game to the Giants. This one's at home. If they lose this game to Danny DeVito's nephew and a hobbled Saquon Barkley, I don't know if Ron Rivera makes it to Monday. Mainly because Washington's offense seemingly is getting a little better. Their defense, they're finding ways to get to the quarterback, but I noticed something in the last two games. They're getting to the quarterback, but it's taking a lot longer. It's becoming coverage sacks. No real impactful defensive ends. And they're going in without Smith Johnson or whatever his last name is. I can't remember his last name. Washington is sitting on the outside looking in a weak NFC conference at the playoffs. Believe it or not, they have a legit shot because they don't have that tough of a back-end schedule. But it starts with winning this game versus the Giants. The Giants don't have Walker. They don't have Johnson or Danny Dimes, I should say. Saquon's hurt. The offensive line is garbage. Washington, just execute. Brian Johnson catching the ball out the backfield is a new thing and a good thing, especially with Antonio Gibson out for this week. Rodriguez should get some play because he's normally the change of pace back. I just don't know what to say about Washington at this point other than they need to win this game. I don't believe it's right that they're favored by like 7 points. They should probably be favored by 3. That's only because they're at home. I don't know why they always play down to their talent, but they do. JT, you got the Giants, and then Tony can give your thoughts on Washington versus the Giants. What are you doing, JT?
I liked Washington. I ain't got nothing good to say about the Giants. I got Washington. That's why.
Okay, I would have said that.
That's why you didn't hear me say anything. I like Washington. That's it.
Well, remember, we're on live air. You got to say something.
No,
Are you like Washington, Tony?
I like Washington.
Okay, go ahead, Tony.
Man, it's a pick 'em, like you said. It's a toss up because the Giants have I ain't say a better defense, so to speak, but both of them play down to the level of competition that they're playing against. And in Washington, I haven't seen much from Bieniemy's offensive scheme that says, yeah, they should go in there and blow that team out. So I think Rivera, because the new ownership probably lasts through the season, but something tells me right after New Year's, Rivera's gone. EB probably stays, depending on who they bring in as a new coach. But I mean, Washington will probably win it by the Giants missing an extra point or something like that. But yeah, I don't see them winning by more than 6 points.
Oh, I got to respond to that.
Hold on. First, you didn't have nothing. Now we got to respond.
I got to respond to that. Washington throws the ball at least 40 times a game. At least 40 times a game. And Giants defense can't keep up with that. They can't keep up with that. Eric Bieniemy, in my opinion, I know you guys, the Washington Commanders fans, has improved that offense. Okay. And with a better quarterback, I think that's even better the offense. But right now they have Sam Howell, and they keep throwing 40. They're going to keep throwing regardless. And Giants can't keep up with that. Giants defense ain't all that. And after a while, late in the game, they're going to wear them down. And I like Washington to win this game. Ooh, to me, because they can't score, I'm thinking at least 10 points.
Okay, well, again, you could have said that when it was your turn, but all right. You got Tampa Bay and Baker. I got the 49ers. Listen.
Let me put it this way. Baker, did you look at the film with
hopefully my internet didn't mess up. San Francisco lost 3 straight games. Or they lost 2 straight games. They look like world beaters last week. San Francisco should not have a problem with Tampa Bay in this game. Christian McCaffrey didn't get in the end zone. He addressed it. I was like, oh, I'm such a bad player. I'm the only one that didn't score. So it snapped his streak. I think he starts the streak again versus Tampa Bay. Brandon Ayuk is having a better season than Debo. Debo's been hurt. George Kittle, he's been popping up now. But I think San Francisco is just a complete team. And to have Young and Bosa on the same team, I watched them play last week.
Yep.
That is monstrous.
Yeah, that's scary.
That is, and Armstead's the D tackle, one of the D tackles. That is a monster defense right now.
That's unfair.
I think Tampa has stout defense. Chris, they do, but I don't think they got a stout enough defense to compete with San Francisco. I gotta go with San Francisco. I think the spread's like 7.5. They might hit that spread. They might. JT, you got Tampa Bay.
I gotta believe this. Baker, I got Tampa Bay. Baker, did you look at what happened with Trevor Lawrence? And that was
you just said you're picking Tampa Bay?
Wait a minute. Just listen to it. Can you listen?
I thought you said I got Tampa Bay. Go ahead.
You said I had Tampa Bay. So I said, okay. I said, Baker, did you see what happened to Trevor last week? And they had a bye week and they were playing in Jacksonville. And now you're playing on the road in San Francisco. All I have to do is say a prayer for Baker Mayfield that he gets out this game healthy. Because I don't care who thinks that Tampa Bay's defense is stout. They have a very strong offense besides the defense in San Francisco. And I think this is going to be an easy win. I think this team is focused, along with the addition they have with Chase Young. Baker Mayfield going to be running for his life. I like San Francisco to win this game easy.
Okay, Tony, what's up?
Yeah, all the assessments are about accurate. Like you said, San Fran had that 3-game losing streak. They got back on track last week. They'll be at home. Tampa Bay's got to fly across the country. I mean, the obvious is they're playing against Baker Mayfield, so yeah, it shouldn't be close. I mean, their offense, Tampa Bay's offense, has enough to keep up with them. The problem is getting that offensive line, like you say, contain that front seven and give Mayfield the time to throw the ball down the field. But no, I don't see San Fran letting up, especially after the three-game losing streak they had. So I think they're just gonna build on what they did last week and pretty much run rampant.
Okay. Next game up, the Jets go to Buffalo. By the way, I have 2 game tickets in the corner end zone of the Bills for this game. Anybody's interested? Make me an offer. I can give them to you. Here's the thing. Ken Dorsey has been fired. They elevated somebody else to call the plays. Allegedly, this was the friction this summer between Stephon Diggs and so on and so forth. Both teams will not lose, Chris. They'll tie, but they can't both lose. Does Buffalo come out and make a statement versus this very, very good Jet defense? I don't know. I'm going to be honest with you. I don't know. I don't think they will make a statement. I think they'll win the game. But Carter, the third running back on that team, has been released. He's now with Arizona, and they're supposed to give Cook some more rushes. Now, Buffalo's defense does not stop the run. Let's be clear. They don't. Javonte Williams had a hell of a game versus them this past Thursday. I don't know what to tell you. I don't think this is a big decisive win because remember, Wilson came in and beat Buffalo first game of the season after one play by Aaron Rodgers. It wasn't an Aaron Rodgers, we got into the end zone. Wilson beat them. I just want to put it that way. But I think Buffalo's going to get back and they want to prove a point. They'll win, but it'll be by 3. Go ahead, Q. I mean, not Q. Go ahead, JT.
Give me tickets and I'll crown you the champ.
I am half champ. Could be a full champ, but that's okay.
Let me just say this. If this was a do or die game, this is a do or die game for the Buffalo Bills. It's playing in Buffalo, ideal conditions. It's played in Buffalo. They fired the offensive coordinator. They're playing against the Jet offense and a Jet defense who's got their backup quarterback who is lost his confidence, is very unsure about himself, and Buffalo should be able to take advantage of that. Even though their offense is, we don't know what kind of offense they're going to have. Let me put it that way. With a new offensive coordinator, he may run the ball more than he's going to throw it. Okay. I got to go with Buffalo in this because I think they're a better team with a better quarterback, and I think that quarterback is finally going to show up and get this team to a win, a badly needed win. In that case, I don't have too much faith in the Jets, and they're going to try to run the ball, keep it away from the offense. So I like Buffalo to win this game. Go ahead, Tony. Hey, who's your NFL? Who's your son's NFL team?
Buffalo.
Buffalo. Okay, that's what I thought. Buffalo. You like Buffalo? Okay.
Yeah, I think Buffalo's problem. Not it doesn't. While they put the onus on the offense coordinator. I think it centers around Josh Allen. Um, Josh Allen not being himself. Like you look back at yet last year, he was throwing the ball downfield, but when he got in trouble, he ran it a lot more. Now he's trying to stay in the pocket more. He's trying to do kind of like Lamar Jackson's doing this year, stay
Yeah.
in the pocket more to be a pocket quarterback. And that's what's hurting their offense mostly. And then the other big problem Buffalo has is nobody really talks about it. Is their defense isn't the same. It is sad to say that Trayvon Evans made that much of an impact on their defense, but apparently it has because the linebacking core doesn't play the same. The defensive
Yep.
back giving up a lot of big plays on the back end.
And
So
Milano's out as well.
yeah, so it's more or less on the defense. I mean, Jonathan Allen and them will figure it out. Yes, it's a must win for them, but I think their defense has to figure it out. Not that they should lose to the Jets offense, but the problem is the Jets defense is a little bit better than Buffalo, so they'll keep it close. Well, I think Buffalo, if it comes down to it, it'll probably be a special teams game where either somebody does a punt return, and that'll be the difference in the game. But I think Buffalo can edge them out by 3 or 4.
Agreed. And to answer Chris's question, if the Jets upset Buffalo, does McDermott get fired? I've heard a little bit about that as well, but I don't think that's going to happen. I think they're going to give him another year because I believe Buffalo's window is closing. Here's what's going to happen. If Stephon Diggs gets traded or whatever the case may be, McDermott's gone because that's the one big weapon that he has. Kincaid and Diggs and Allen are the offense. You can't rely on Cooks. Cooks had a good game, but you can't rely on him. Murray is a hammer, but they're not going to make him the starter or give him the ball as many times as they gave to Cook. It's tough in Buffalo. I don't know if he lasts another year if they don't make the playoffs. All right. Next game.
Tell you one thing, the ownership group, especially them trying to get a new stadium, they're probably
Yeah.
going to want changes with that new stadium coming. So
That is true because they are getting a new stadium and it's still going to be outdoors. It's not going to be a dome or anything like that, but you're right. Absolutely right. Next game, Seattle goes to the Rams. JT, you've got your favorite Geno team. I've got the Rams. Look, Matthew Stafford comes back. And with Matthew Stafford coming back, you can expect Cooper Kupp to get 1,000 receptions this game. Him and Puka Nacua. The question is Henderson going to be the back? Or is it going to be Royce Freeman? You don't know. They put both of them on practice squad, but they brought up Henderson one too many times, and now Henderson has to stay on the line in the roster. They can put Freeman back down after this game and bring him up one more time before he's ultimately on the team for the rest of the year. The problem is this. It's a division game. That's the problem. Not that the Seahawks are better. They are. But since it's a division game and the Seahawks have a problem covering the pass, this could be trouble for them. I don't expect this to be over 40 points total. I think it's going to be under 40. I got Seattle winning. JT.
I got LA winning this game. It's in the stadium. I'm not liking Geno too much in this game. Tell you the truth. He's got weapons, but how healthy are the weapons going to be? And Tyler Lockett is very, 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 very questionable in this game. So he may rely on a rookie along with DK Metcalf and along with their running back. But I'm liking the Rams with the welcoming back of Matthew Stafford to pull out this game. Close game because it's a division game. Close game.
Go ahead, Tony.
I think, like JT said, I think because of the injuries, and I have a mantra when it comes to especially NFL players when they get big contracts. When you think about a player like Geno Smith, it took him so long to get a big contract. Typically, that second year or that year after signing a big contract, they don't play very well. Geno Smith hadn't lived up to the contract that they gave him. So, like you, I would lean on the experience of the Rams with both of their receivers and Henderson at running back, and trusting that Aaron Donald will probably make a play or two that keeps them in the game and winning the game. But yeah, I'd say the Rams win by 6.
Let's go.
Wow. Okay. All right. Next game is the Sunday night game. Interestingly enough, the Broncos are still favored by I think it was 9. It was either 6 or 9. I can't remember which one it was. I've got the Broncos. You've got Minnesota, JT. Interesting stat. Russell Wilson has not thrown over 205 yards since, I believe, week 6 or week 5, one or the other. Consequently, Broncos have been winning. He also only has 2 interceptions on the year. Everything's not honky-dory in Denver. But Denver's defense is starting to step up. It's starting to play like it's supposed to. They can't stop the run, as you saw last week with Cook, just going crazy on them. But they cause turnovers. It's in Denver. That doesn't mean that Denver's going to win this game. I don't even know how Joshua Dobbs is going to play against this defense. I think he's going to. This is one of the better defenses he's going to face with the cornerback play. So I like Courtland Sutton. I'm about to call him Jerry. It is Jerry Jeudy. Jerry Jeudy is just a jag, just a guy. Steve Smith is right. And if you want to fight him for that, for telling the truth, that's on you, Mr. Jeudy. I'm not going to fight you. I'm going to sue you. That's the bottom line. But I think Denver has just enough to win this game. Just enough. Because Dobbs, something about that guy. He might be there at quarterback. I think you asked this question last week, JT.
Yep.
I think Dobbs is the guy they're going to keep and not build around, but prepare for their future around. Go ahead, JT.
Ever since last season, I've said I love this offense. I absolutely love the Minnesota offense. Nothing's changed my mind, especially when Josh Dobbs took over from Kirk Cousins. And the beat goes on. In fact, in my opinion, he's improved the offense with his legs.
Well,
with his legs. I think he's got the most rushing yards in the last 2 weeks than any quarterback. So he's, in my opinion, he's getting the ball to his pass catchers and his playmakers, plus the fact he's using his legs when he needs to. I like Minnesota in this game.
Tony has done it again. What's up?
Yeah, you can't trust Denver, even if the game is in Denver. And I'll go scientifically. This dude's a rocket scientist, so he can navigate the high altitude and everything else. So, and like you guys are saying, he's elevated that offense better than Kirk because of his leg moving. And then I'm not even gonna get on Kirk because you guys know my story with Kirk. But yeah, Minnesota a lot better.
I still love Kirk Cousins.
Well, he don't like him not because of the team of Washington. He don't like him because he's a Michigan State quarterback. He's Michigan.
Oh, wow.
Look, Kirk Cousins is, let me best put it. He's doing what Caleb Williams is doing this year. He's just that Kirk Cousins passes stats to make him look great, but ultimately he's not great. Because again, outside the 20, Kirk Cousins balls out. But again, once you get inside the red zone, Kirk Cousins tanks. So, but that's.
I'll say this: he's not stealing signs. But we'll move on to the last game of the season. We have Monday night. Hey, listen, I love Michigan.
That was a low blow.
I love Michigan.
And I know you're a big Maryland fan, and they getting the brakes beat off.
I'm not a big Maryland fan. I didn't graduate from Maryland.
That's a low blow.
Call it what you want. Call it what you want. Everybody,
I love you. I mean,
I wouldn't do that, Tony.
Don't steal that. But let's move on. Let's move on. Last game.
I wouldn't come out like that. But that's typical Victor. I wouldn't do that.
Hey, how's that typical Victor?
That's typical Victor.
Yeah,
Whatever. I'm just
Michigan ain't
saying.
worried about it. That's the reason they 11-0, or they will be today. They'll be 11-0, and
They'll be 11-0.
they'll be 12-0 next week. So
I got it, but for the next 3 games, which includes the first bowl game, he can't coach. And you know what? Chris asked the question at the beginning of the show, and we didn't completely go over it, but I'm going to do it right now before we get to the last game. Harbaugh, he signed that big contract with Michigan, but he's probably going to be gone in a year or two. And because of all the scandal.
well,
He is coming.
I don't think the heat's coming, but I don't think the scandal's gonna, like, if he wins the national championship this year, yeah, he'll probably leave.
They're not going to win the national championship, bro.
If he don't win, it's just more of a reason to come back. Plus, you got to think about it. Harbaugh has pushed the limits of the establishment since he's been there. What was the first thing he did? He started hosting satellite camps in Alabama. Nick Saban got pissed off about it. SEC got pissed off about it. Then the next thing, what did he do? He told the NCAA, to hell with y'all. We're going to find a way to pay our players, whether you like it or not. So he's been pushing the establishment for years since he's been there. And now that he's winning, the NCAA and everybody around, i.e. the Ohio State Ryan Days and everybody else, want to find a way to be like, something ain't right, because ain't no way they can just start winning like they have been. I'm like, sure, you say what you want. The problem is what he has started to do, just like most schools. He has found the recruits. You got to think the first 4 years he was there, he didn't have his recruit. Now he's starting to get his recruits. You see the product. You know what I'm saying? And you look at, like I said, the last 2 drafts. Michigan has had at least 4 or 5 players drafted in the last 2 drafts in the first round. If you include the second round, you're talking about 10 to 12 players every year. So he's getting the talent, and the team is producing. And they can call it whatever you want to call it. But should he win this year, yeah, there'll be screams for him. But I think at this point, most NFL teams can't offer him the money that Michigan would offer him. So.
Well, they could, but they don't want him stealing signs. Now, Jerry,
he didn't steal no.
Can I say this real quick? All I gotta say is, you can't burn bridges. Sooner or later, you can't burn bridges.
He burned him in San Francisco for real, though.
What's that?
Well, San Francisco burned him.
He did burn him in for real. Well, okay, let's talk about Monday night, and then we'll close out with some other stuff, right?
Okay.
I've got the Chiefs. You got the Eagles. Listen, I like Pat Mahomes, but you know what I don't like? His receivers dropping the ball all the time. I don't like them not being able to move the ball as frequently as they need to. What I see is a repeat of the first half of the Super Bowl before a full game in Arrowhead. I know Kansas City has one of the better defenses in the NFL, but they still have a problem stopping the run. What does the Eagles do, or what do the Eagles do very effectively? Run the ball. And they run it so well that their play action is so good. McDuffie and company, the back end of the Kansas City Chiefs defense, they've been saving them a lot. The problem is, can they stop the run? I say no. Can Pat put up more points? I'm going to tell you again, no. I got the Eagles win this game. JT.
You have the Eagles winning this game?
I do.
Okay. Wow. Okay. 2 out of 3 or 2 out of 4 Super Bowls. And when the game's on the line, I'm going with the closer. The closer is number 15 on the Kansas City Chiefs, and the team that knows how to close. That's the bottom line. They know how to close games out. This is a must-win game. They know how to close. And the fact is,
why is it a must-win though, Jerry?
It's a must-win game. Because why? Because of how they got handled last week. They don't want teams to think that's the blueprint. I like the coach, who's a closer type of coach. So you got a head coach and the quarterback. in sync as being closers, I'm going with the Kansas City Chiefs.
And it wasn't last week because they were on bye, I believe. They were on bye. Yeah, they were on bye last week because Kelsey was in Brazil with Tate.
The last game they played.
Yes.
And that's even more.
It was the first.
Andy Reid doesn't lose coming off a bye.
And I'm gonna let Tony talk, but that was Mahomes' first ever loss within the division. First ever.
Anomaly. That was an anomaly. Sooner or later, it had to happen. Couldn't happen better time than when they go on a bye. And Andy Reid, I think, is 9-1 coming off a bye.
I don't know, but go ahead, Tony.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, Andy Reid know how to coach up a team, especially after they're rested after a week of a bye week. Kansas City's offense, yes, relies on Kelsey a lot, but it still works. So I'm of the mindset if it ain't broke, don't fix it. And defenses know they're gonna throw to Kelsey, and they still can't stop it. So I think it'll still be a close one. I think Philly has an opportunity to exploit their defense a little bit, but again, if Chris Jones can affect that offense, then yeah, it'll turn that game into something. It'll turn into Kansas City's favor more than Philly's favor. And again, with it being in Kansas City, I think getting getting signals in to Jalen Hurts is going to be a whole lot more difficult than.
Are we talking about signals again? My bad, bro.
So, yeah, I got Kansas City winning by 8.
Okay.
Stay off the chat. Stay off the chat. Stay off that damn chat.
Excuse me. Watch your language and let me do my thing. All right. So that's going to conclude all the games for this week. 2 more parts. I'm going to dog Tony out because we have a game this week. I'm going to talk trash to him. But before I do that, again, if you listened to last week's show and you played both teasers, you won. Jerry's teasers won last week, and so did Q's. This week, I've got Q's teasers again for you. Let me find some music for him. That's Q's music. Matter of fact, you know what? No, that's the music that he loses to. Let me give him some new music. All right, we do a little rock. For it, right? So this week, Q's teasers. And I think this one has a good shot of hitting. He says, take the Arizona Cardinals plus 11, Los Angeles Chargers plus 3.5, the Detroit Lions minus 1, the Minnesota Vikings plus 9, the Cowboys minus 4.5, and he believes it's going to go over 40 points in the Raiders-Dolphins game. Again, Q's teasers for this week. Arizona Cardinals plus 11, but I believe that line has moved up to 12. Everything has moved up to 12, but plus 11. The Chargers plus 3.5. Detroit Lions minus 1. That means all I got to do is just win the game. Minnesota Vikings plus 9. Dallas Cowboys minus 4.5. And the over 40 for the Raiders and Dolphins game. We have any thoughts on those, fellas? No? All right.
I like them all.
I like them all as well.
Tony
Tony likes them, but he can't bet them. Actually, he can. He's in Colorado. I want to ask him about how Colorado is. Maryland, 29-24. Okay, all right. Don't mess up my parlay, Maryland. But anyway, what do I have for Senor Tony?
Fantasy Sports and Politics.
I hit the wrong button. My bad, y'all.
Oh my
Hit the wrong button.
Oh my God. You just started the show or what? What's going on?
Hey, guy, calm
God.
down.
God.
Calm down. Calm down.
Hey, let me tell you. I saw something last week on just the last few days. Most of the time, when people say "calm down," that doesn't calm people down.
Whatever. So, Tony, we play each other this week. I believe your defense is going to get you like 40 points. So the projected score don't really mean jack. Oh, Tony, he took his camera off now. So I don't know what's going to happen. Oh, there he is. But I'm going to be a gentleman about this.
No, he ain't.
Mind your business, old man.
No, I'm
going to open the floor to you, Tony.
Cheat them well.
I'm
let
going to
them lead the way.
I'm going to let you, Tony, have the first talking point about our matchup. Feel free to say whatever it is you feel is necessary, and then I will follow up behind you. Floor is yours.
Well, I haven't really looked at it. I'll be honest. Like I said, I typically look at it Saturday night after all the college games gone off, and since I didn't have anybody playing Thursday night, I set the roster, so my team has struggled this year. I mean, we've had a couple games. Like I said, the very first game of the season, I lost by like 0.00245 or something crazy because of a small
adjustment.
But all of my games have been close. It's not even like, for the most part, I think I've put the best rosters out there, and then crazy stuff happens. But I don't know. I'll see what happens. Like I said,
Good answer.
I thought I drafted pretty well.
Good answer, Tony.
I think what has hurt me is I don't have good quarterback play, so that could help you in this game. I've got decent running backs and decent receivers, so it's just if they show up tomorrow, then yeah. If not, then I take the L and we'll move on.
Good answer. Good answer, Tony.
Hey,
that's the gentleman answer. Good answer.
Hey. Calm down. Well, Tony, that was a very diplomatic and adult answer. You did the whole Michelle Obama, when they go low, we go high. I'm not going to go really low. I'm going to go a little low. After I beat you, I don't want you leaving the league. I don't want you running. I want you back next year so I can.
You still ain't give me my helmet. I'm just saying. I correctly predicted who the number 5 pick was in the draft, and I'd have moved 2 addresses and I ain't seen nothing. So,
all right, dude, you gonna get your damn helmet.
Matter of fact, I should get the Buffalo ticket since you can't send me the helmet.
You can't even go to the game tomorrow.
I'll figure out a way. If I got to drive to Buffalo, I'll make it happen. I got a new Pathfinder outside.
Well, I'll tell you what. Here's what I'm gonna do for you. Honestly, if I can't sell my Buffalo Dallas Cowboy tickets, which is December 12th or whatever, I know your wife's a Cowboy fan.
I got you.
But y'all got to find a third ticket because I only got 2. So you got to take you and your wife and the boy, or the baby.
Yeah, we'll figure that out.
But that's if I can't sell him.
He 4'6", 98 pounds. He no goddamn baby.
Oh my goodness. But I'll send you to Fred Taylor. That dude is a grown man.
Exactly. He out here laying people out in flag football. Although
that's what I'm talking about.
He had 2 touchdowns in his last game.
Good. He's an all-around athlete. That's what I'm talking about. But I will send you the Fred Taylor helmet. I'll do that because, yeah, I didn't feel comfortable with you saying you're going to urinate in the Michael Vick. That kind of hurt my feelings. I couldn't do that. But I can see the Fred Taylor helmet. Let me get your new address, and I'll definitely send it to you either this week or next week. Again, I can't do so much because the wife done took my keys. She done did everything until I get this thing off. But crazy thing is they telling me I gotta go back to work. So I'm gonna go back to work when I gotta go back. But anyway, I'm gonna put that working on you tomorrow. And if I happen to lose, I'm still gonna talk trash. because I deserve to win, not you. All right, that's as low as I'm gonna go. That's as low as I'm gonna go. All right, JT, you already gave one promotion to your show. You got another one for tomorrow?
People tune in. I got some really good sleepers that you probably won't be thinking of, more than likely. And I'm surprised people have been picking up on this, but I got some really good sleepers. Really good. And this is crunch time, people. For most people, tomorrow will be
Come on, Randy.
after trade day, which is this today for most leagues. Last minute trading, you save it or make it changes to your lineup that can help improve you down the stretch run. That's all I got to say. But tune in 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time on For No Reason. Be there, people. I'm telling you, I've been hot. I've been hot, and I can't get everything correct, but I'm getting a lot of things correct, and I can help you going into your possible fantasy playoff or your positioning in your leagues to get into the playoffs. 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time on For No Reason Fantasy Football.
All right, with that being said, Tony looked like he got some stuff he got to be doing for the baby. So I'm going to let him go.
Go Buffalo Bills.
Appreciate you, Tony. Y'all have a good one. With that being said, ladies and gentlemen, y'all know what time it is. Stay around, Jerry. I'm going to show you this scar. Appreciate Chris. Sammy, you can kiss my ass, but I appreciate you.
Wow.
Q. And who else was on here? Can we have an entire episode of JT just going off? Hey, dude, Chris, that is every other episode.
I'm passionate about football, man.
Listen, Chris, I can't have that because I'm not supposed to stress my neck or anything like that. I'm telling you, if he does that, I'm going to end up back in the hospital. We can't have that. We can't have that.
Okay.
But anyway, Chris, Sammy, Q, who else jumped on here? Thank you, Van, for being such a terrible trader. I love you anyway. Tony, and I think that's it. Who else jumped on here? Let me see. I got to go through it, y'all. Bear with me. Yeah, I think that's it. And all those that watched us, at one point we had up to 8 people watching at one time, and I greatly appreciate you. Come on back next week, 10 a.m. Pacific time, 1 p.m. Eastern time, Fantasy Sports and Politics. We are here, and I ain't going nowhere, y'all. I'm just be honest. I'm one bad dude, and you can't get rid of me. We out.
Fantasy Sports and Politics.
Get ready to rumble! You wanna talk smack? You in the right place. So take a step back before I get all up in your
remember, because I don't remember. I remember every bit of this.
You're the dudes holding on the phone line. Your voice will be heard, sir.
Next caller, please.
Oh!
Jerry's gonna get him.
Fantasy Sports